I am Lamont at large. I am standing at 162 Apple Avenue here in Muskegon, Michigan, and I am here to ask one question. Who killed the shopping cart man? 48-year-old Wilmer Martin, affectionately known as the shopping cart man, lived in this area of Muskegon. He was called the shopping cart man because basically when everyone would see him, he would always be pushing a shopping cart full of whatever stuff he found on the street. And a lot of people previously thought that he was just a homeless man going around town doing whatever it is that homeless men do. But he actually had a small apartment here in this area. He just loved the street life. The police did know him, but he wasn't much of a troublemaker. They would rouse him from a drunken sleep if he passed out on a park bench or if he was crossing the street, jaywalking, what have you. But other than that, they never ever had a problem with him. Does not much of a criminal record at all. As harmless as a pussycat is what one person called him. Would never harm or hurt anybody. Now he had his own demons. You know, a lot of us people on the street have our problems, but for the most part, he was a gentle soul and he never bothered anybody. So I'm here to ask another question. Who, on August 20th of 2005, who killed this man? Around 9 a.m. on August 20th of 2005, Mr. Martin's body was found behind this shed on the corner of Spring and Apple Avenue. He was found right here, dead with multiple stab wounds to the chest. He had multiple defensive cuts on his arms and hands. When the coroner came to pick up his body and they took him to the coroner's office to do an autopsy, the coroner's office indicated that he was murdered around the times between 12 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning. He had no enemies. Nobody out in this city wanted any kind of harm or bad to happen to him. Nobody even knew of any possible person that he had any kind of run-ins with or any kind of fights. Just a gentle soul. Somebody had recalled a story of taking him out to eat for breakfast. And mind you, this man never, ever, ever begged for money. Never, ever begged for money. He was involved in a car accident some time ago. So it's with my understanding that he lived off of the proceeds of the lawsuit that was filed against the person who hit him with a car. He was a machinist by trade, but, you know, he just loved the street life. He loved being on the street. He loved walking around. He liked collecting stuff, and that's what he did. And on that morning, his body was found right here. Around 6 days after the murder took place, detectives received a break in the case. A woman came forward to say that she seen a man by the name of Ronald Green on that morning of the murder stumbling towards his house, carrying a knife in his hand with a bloody t-shirt. Police then put out a warrant for his arrest, picked him up, took him to the station, and after their preliminary investigation determined that he was not responsible for the murder. They tested the shirt that he was wearing at that day, and it was not any kind of human blood at all. So he was let go. Later on, he had eventually moved with his family to Virginia. In a 2012 interview with a magazine, he had said that him and Martin were friends and that he would have never hurt anybody. And to that day, he did not know what happened. June 4th of that following year, Mr. Green died. And police to this day do not at all believe whatsoever that he had anything to do with the murder of Wilmer Martin. A beautiful man with a beautiful heart and the soul of a gypsy that I share along with him. It's been 14 years and this crime has still remained unsolved. We are no closer to solving the case now than we were back then. I'm just one man with a small channel. But I'm just asking, if anybody out there, if anyone out there knows anything relating to the crime or who could have possibly done this. Mr. Martin did nothing but keep to himself. He loved living outside and he loved the outdoors. And he is no better or no worse than any other man who stood next to him. If you or anybody out there has any information that you can give the Muskegon detectives, please give them a call, 231-724-7655. You could also call the Silent Observer. There is a $1,000 reward, 231-72-CRIME. If you know anything, please give them a call. I'm Lamont at Large. Thanks for watching. Peace out.